चेक कर लेते हैं ऑडियो मेरा चेक कर देते अपना भी चेक कर लो ऑडियो कैसे होगा चेक भाई से ऑडियो वाला ऑडियो आई थिंक फॉर लाइव बट क्या नहीं वो लाइव स्ट्रीम में लाएंगे शॉर्ट्स बहुत करने सही है ओके सही सही ये फुल वॉल्यूम लाइव स्ट्रीम में लाएंगे हाँ वॉल्यूम आपको लोकेशन आपने उल्टा पहन रखा है माइक उल्टा है सही है सही ये फुल वॉल्यूम लाइव स्ट्रीम में लाएंगे हाँ पोस्ट किया चलो Cool. So, और इसमें तो मेरे को बहुत सारा फोन भी यूज करना होगा बिकॉज आई विल लाइव टेस्टिंग एक बार फिर से अपना ऑडियो देखो लाइव में लोगों को सुनाई देना चाहिए अब तो मेन ऑडियो वाला रहता है एक बार फिर से अपना ऑडियो देखो वाओ लाइव लोगों को सुनाई देना चाहिए अब तो हाँ ऑडियो वाला रहता है ठीक है तो cool. So, आज का live is about the most absurd topic ever, Antichrist. Antichrist, चलो. और topic आया कहाँ से context? So recently Peter Thiel is Antichrist, this is Antichrist, that is Antichrist. Everyone is having a theory that something AI is Antichrist, whatever, right? So I did some digging. I'm not Christian, so went on Wikipedia. So I'll just open this on Wikipedia. Also, so if anyone wants to check. So Wikipedia page, there's something in Christianity which is called Age of the Beast. And that's like the end of the times, etc. So I have just opened the Wikipedia page for the Beast Revelation. Simple Age of the Beast. I guess Bible. All of this started like picked up Epstein files खुलने के बाद कि ये Antichrist लोगों का पूरा group है. Saturn, then फिर वो like Iran burned the refugee of that thing like it had some name, but yeah, they called it Saturn. Saturn. हाँ Saturn. SAT है. हाँ. So B से I think it was starting. Okay. So but yeah. Anyways, so coming to I found कि हाँ Age of the Beast. हाँ. Okay, so Age of the Beast is described as disclaimer दे देता हूँ. All of these are Ravi's thoughts, and if any American is seeing this, I deserve an American visa. Yeah, so we'll tag Rand Celtics here. Messari founder. Okay. He's right now working on Christian AI. I think he should also know about this theory. Lucky for me. Okay. He follows me. So I'll tag him. Let's see what he thinks. Okay. But so simple theory. So we can see that it's so Age of the Beast is it speaks blasphemous will rule the world for 42 months. Okay. And there will be three beasts. Revelation 12:13 describes the three beasts as follows. There's a dragon, there's a beast of the sea, and there's a beast of the earth. So one by one we'll go on ki each of these beasts what they do. Okay. So there is the false prophet. So false prophet is blasphemous, but people increasingly trust it to tell them what's true. There is something called the beast himself. So no one could, or also called Antichrist. So one of the beasts. So the beast has this characteristic that no one could buy or sell unless they had the mark of the beast. Okay. So one is false prophet. Everyone trusts them to tell them what's true, and that is believed to be the source of the truth, and it's blasphemous. Second, you cannot buy or sell anything without the signature, the mark of the beast. And third is the dragon, which is the source of the power behind these two figures, right? So, to think about it, like AI is kind of a prophet. Like everyone will eventually start trusting. We already fact check everything with AI. We don't even look for any like statistic or any data source. We are like we just ask AI what's the population of France and we trust it. Right? अभी just एक thought है like अगर आप in general any communication technology को लोगे over the course of time, it was made to somehow get masses trusting you or something. Right. So the first calculator the person used, like okay, theoretically calculator will not go wrong, but it took it eventually shifted the trust to calculator. People are not verifying anything what calculator says or what radio says. So
And
eventually,
then news channels, media, traditional media, mass media, then social media, Google or Google.
That's like video, like media, everything. So
Overall, अगर देखा जाए, evolvement of technology was in a way
medium
you
kept
get
evolving and trust kept evolving
the
into
goal.
that medium itself.
Goal was कि masses को trust कराना है
Yeah.
कि इंसान Google करे, like Google it. That means you're seeing a trustworthy source. Now it's AI, ChatGPT.
And now, still maybe very less, but let's talk about maybe 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. So AI will be the top notch. Like whatever AI says is the truth. So and no one can go against it.
वो जो Steve Jobs का famous AI prediction था कि we all will stop learning from books and learning from public figures. Instead, we learn from a AI model on them, like built over them. But you don't know what other messages they are
People
conveying.
will not care about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think AI will be like saying that there is a God and saying that there is no God is blasphemous, right? So this is very much like a false prophet. So everyone will worship it as a source of the truth and it will be blasphemous. So, okay, so there is one thing called AI, which is aligning to the concept of false prophet. Second thing, the beast himself. Like you cannot buy or sell without the mark of the beast. So right now we are seeing payments eventually have been evolving to digital, and it seems like in the next 5-10 years, digital payments will be the only means of payments, right? With or without crypto, like irrespective. Like India, we have seen UPI. Everyone is having a digital payment stack.
If we look at India also, like because of digital payments and because of UPI, banks can actually lock your money. Like, for example, you would have seen these cases rise where you have done a random UPI transaction with someone, and 2 months down the line, the bank account.
So if the bank
sends you
agrees to your purpose of transaction, they will freeze your account.
They'll freeze your account. So, for example, you have 20,000 in your account, and they want to freeze 80,000. Your account goes to minus 60,000.
Uh, and how they are able to do it is so your every transaction happens through a signature. And if that signature is frozen, you will not be able to do a transaction.
So it's the base. UPI is the base in India.
So you will need the signature. So not necessarily right now UPI, but there will be a like let's say global.
It's USDC.
So payments
it can be frozen.
Whatever is the substrate. So right now UPI is not based on blockchain, but eventually every payment will come on blockchain. So let's say even CBDC needs to sit on a blockchain, right?
Yeah.
So whoever controls the signature schema of that payment substrate, you will need their signature to buy or sell literally anything.
So, एक और सवाल, one more question. Bitcoin is anti-beast at this point. If we look at it, is that a value proposition?
So right now, my assumption is I'm not assuming that beast is actually a person. It might be a company. It might be anything. It might be a technology, right?
Yeah.
So Bitcoin necessary. If Bitcoin is anti or pro beast, I don't know. But like even in cash, like your cash carries value only because there is a sign of the like in India it's the RBI governor, right? So that signature mechanism, if there is a one common signature mechanism which sits on top of every payment, then it becomes a beast. Similarly, if there is one top model AI which becomes the most trusted AI and everything is verified against it, then it becomes a beast.
तो अगर देखा जाए तो at present scenario, US dollars is the primary signature of every currency.
Present. But we will extrapolate it to 10, 20 or 30 or 50 years down the line whenever we see that age of the beast coming, which is like 42 months. I don't think that it has started so
what
far.
What is age of beast?
Age of beast is the period where these beasts will occur and they will rule the earth and then it will be ended by the called. So, and this is also very interesting. So end of so how this period ends is every religion has documented about this also.
Okay.
So Muslims have this figure called Imam Mehdi who will come from the east riding a white horse. Hindus have this figure called Kalki who is again riding a white horse. And similarly Christians also have something, right? So everyone has described about this figure. So once the 42 months age of the beast ends, this figure will come, and they call it that the coming of the Messiah or coming of the Christ, second coming will happen and stuff. But so anyways, so we have described the first and second piece.
Yeah.
Now we are coming to the third one, which is the dragon.
Hmm.
And dragon is the person, sorry, whatever that thing is, person, company, I don't know, but that powers the first and the second piece. So it's a source of power, right?
So energy.
So the best source of energy, if we can think of, let's say, 30, 50 years down the line, solar nahi hai. We can think, okay, there will be a ring around the earth which will have solar panels. No, no, nuclear fusion, bro. It's very simple. I'm calling it why because there's a lot of simple why because like I know at least 3 to 5 companies which have declared that they will achieve nuclear fusion at a commercial scale in the next 5 years. One of the closest is
So
helium energy.
what I kind of think about the future also is कि we are sitting in a flight. Flight में एक छोटा nuclear fusion reactor है and that's powering the flight. We are moving towards that.
Same like I think China भी recently last week only they launched a battery maybe
Decentralized energy बोल सकते हैं इसे एक तरह से. You have many एक जगह से energy नहीं आ रही.
हाँ, it doesn't need a very high grid like mobile में छोटा सा. So, but fusion will achieve energy for wider scale. And again, like what we know about AI is requires a lot of energy, huge energy. What we know about blockchains is requires a lot of energy. Bitcoin requires a lot of energy. Every chain requires because essentially they are running servers. So, and fusion gives you enough energy to powers one and two, which fits into the description of how, let's say, Bible describes these things to happen. So, and now I'm thinking of like how do these three things fit together. I came upon an interview by Sam Altman, 2016 or 17, where he described how he's imagining the world. So he talked about the trifecta he's creating, which is like OpenAI, which is one of his companies, which is now very big. We all know. Second one is World, which very less people might know of. Even in crypto, a lot of people don't know of, but World is basically that identity layer. Even in a blockchain transaction, they are focusing only on the signature part because your ID is essentially a signature, right? And the third company he has is Helion Energy, which is working on nuclear fusion. And across the world, very less startups are actually in a position where they can become a monopoly or grow this big.
Yeah.
But these three startups are one of the best in their own fields. And there is no single person who's connected to this three set of things except Sam Altman.
Elon.
He has Mars company, Boeing company,
But
Tesla.
if you think of it, right? So again, like most of the technologies that were developed to reach the moon are being used by human society at this point on Earth, right? The thing with I feel it's going to be the same case for most of the technologies that are being used to go to Mars will be used by us. Energy के लिए Mars पे nuclear fusion is the only way. So
Yeah.
I can guarantee
Yeah,
you
but
that Elon is working on it.
Elon has like 10 things which he's working on. Sam is working on 3.
And 3 that just align from this.
Exactly. Elon doesn't have a blockchain yet.
So, but Elon doesn't have a blockchain publicly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. He doesn't have it publicly.
What if he's just hiding it? I don't own it, but he owns it.
None of the major ones at least.
None of the major ones.
Yeah.
WorldCoin is also not major.
WorldCoin is not major yet, but like it is abhi Bain Capital A16Z, like everyone is putting in money and WorldCoin. So WorldChain becomes a step 2 after the AI game.
Okay.
So right now also what we are seeing is every time an AI positive news happens, world and humanity, both protocol that is. Okay. So world is already correlated to AI.
And humanity? What is
humanity protocol?
ये किसका?
I'm not sure, but
and what is it about that?
It's also identification. So they are the because if there will be a lot of agents, a lot of humans, so everything needs to have an identity in a database, and that identity, that is what world and humanity is focusing on.
Okay.
Now there's only one person who is creating this trifecta in the world. And he is also coincidentally the person who is actually creating this trifecta with the biggest companies possible.
Okay.
So this is where the thesis fits in. Okay, so if there is a let's say antichrist, and if we do a probabilistic regression analysis, who is the antichrist? So it will point directly to Sam Altman. This is all like objective factual things. Okay. इसमें everything you can find online, verifiable, everything is there. You can find it. Comment, DM me, I'll send you. But हाँ, अब इसके अलावा फिर अब थोड़ा और ऐसा random things. So Altman, alternative man, तो वो चलो ठीक है. Then I also because I then went down the rabbit hole. So यहाँ तक ठीक है. But फिर I checked birthdays and stuff. So his birthday aligning with Oppenheimer's birthday. So XYZ spooky. And again, like Elon Musk calling him one of the backstabbers. So that's like a lot on his personality. And a lot of people also call him very cunning stuff, XYZ. I don't know, right? No. But that's the common perception is built out there, right? So yeah, this is the entire theory. And why is it significant that he's Antichrist? Like, ठीक है. So एक और way of looking at things is that major events of the world are like anchors of this world, right? Okay, everything revolves around that particular event. For example, if we look at 2008 crisis, that is probably a major event of the world. The world wars were a major event. How is why is Sam Altman being antichrist or this theory of Sam Altman being antichrist a anchor event for the world? I think why everyone is talking about it is and again like so every time we approach an event horizon, right? So we don't know how the future looks like. So for example, like in 1900s, once cars were made, planes were made, electricity, telegraph, XYZ. So we reached an event horizon where everyone speculated about what would the world look like in 50 years, right? And there were a lot of movies made on that. There were a lot of speculations, posters, XYZ made on that, right? So we are currently also living in an event horizon. Okay. Because the current technologies we have, AI, blockchain, nuclear fusion, um, quantum computing. So all of these things are going to transform the world radically. And no one has a clear idea of how, let's say, the world looks like in the next 10, 20 years. People have crazy ideas. Someone is saying money will be gone, there will be nothing called money. Someone is saying work will be optional. Apna philanthropic guys are saying that white collar jobs gone. And yeah. For having a private key, which is signing a transaction. So the private key is your mark. But yes, anything which requires a signing. Because in general, see, if I'm giving you gold, I don't need a sign. Okay. If I'm giving you an orange and taking from your banana, I don't need a sign in this transaction. So from it, we introduce a sign. That's step one. From day one, Bitcoin. Yeah, even cash for that matter. Cash also had a sign, right? Fiat currency. So it is just about can you scale the system? Can one person become the sole signature for entire world to do a transaction? So that is something which we are slowly approaching. Like पहले क्या था कि there was individual currency, so every small kingdom, maybe as big as a state or something, they had separate signatures consolidated to we have one nation. There is one guy whose sign is required, and now maybe the top three blockchains we are seeing that they will cover most of the market. So there will be three different signatures. If it consolidates into, let's say, every blockchain decides to use World ID only for their identification layer, then we move to this future. So again, as I said, like Event Horizon has two parts. Okay. One is a optimistic scenario, The other is a pessimistic scenario. So the pessimistic scenario looks like doomsday, and the optimistic scenario looks like money will be optional. Sorry, working will be optional. There will be nothing called money anymore, and all of that. Those
Probably this will be the only thing we do throughout the day.
like everyone can do whatever they want. There will be universal basic. So there's a people trying to paint the positive side.
Let's just look at the positive side. In that side also, you don't even have the work of education then. Education becomes irrelevant, thinking becomes irrelevant. It does to a large extent. Why
exactly? So that also looks that's totally.
So, like, I was generally thinking about this. Why do people even go towards the direction of purpose? Agar Gautam Buddha, let's just look at Gautam Buddha. I don't want to hurt any sentiments, but it's a very good example that came in my head. If he never had an opportunity to give away his preachings to everyone in the world, would he ever look for purpose? Would he ever become such a big scholar, such a big preacher?
I will think it's simply Maslow. I work into Maslow hierarchy. So what Gautam Buddha reached was self-actualization. So people have this pyramid. पहले चाहिए रोटी कपड़ा मकान, which is like food, shelter, and everything.
Maslow hierarchy.
And then you want, so first you want food, shelter, security. Then you want that thing every day.
Yeah.
So you want food every day. And then you want friends, and then you want respect in your friends, and then you want self-actualization. So that's the natural flow.
But we break that natural flow. And
No, so people might spend different time zones in each ladder, but this is the ladder which everyone follows.
but we break it in the optimistic future. We remove the three parts.
Everyone will be looking for purpose.
And now the point is, in a very idealistic world, everyone has a unique purpose, right? No one is the same. And उस केस में क्या हो जाता है? People who actually go deep into self-actualization, they have no motivation to do that because no one is there to listen to them. Would Osho spread his words so much or go deep into his thoughts so much if he could never control the crowds with it? I don't think he would.
नहीं, so I'm just going by how things happened, right? So for let's say Buddha, he sat meditating for 45 days something, and then people just gathered around him because in general also, if you see someone who's sitting at the same place in meditating for 40 days, you just be around कि भाई what has he
But सब लोग अगर वो कर रहे हैं तो would
so there is a performative also. There's a performative part also. So Buddha started giving his preachings not because he had attained that level, because people stayed around him and pushed him to learn. So the story is that Buddha didn't give his teaching at once. He said, I'll not give the teaching. The last 7 disciples who stayed back, they were just not ready to leave. And Buddha gave the teachings to them.
My point is, you won't have those disciples at all in the dystopian future. क्योंकि सब अपना रास्ता ढूंढ रहे हैं.
हाँ, could be. मतलब उस पे so I would want to मतलब understand more about the age of the beast and see कैसा कैसा है. So what I'm doing currently is I'm reading about this in every religion. So how does, let's say, Muslims describe so that Qiyamah or whatever, they, the next prophet's coming, how Hindus describe, how Christians describe, how Jews describe. Everyone has like these things will happen before. So using that analysis, that's how I like found out that the predictions are not very vague, or at least I'm able to maybe match it one thing to other. And similarly, for family happened. Personally, I don't know I will live long enough to see Age of the Beast. I hope not. If I do, I don't care. But I'll not be surprised either. But yeah. And Ismail, like I'm seeing Twitter, people have been just pointing fingers, ye antichrist, wo antichrist. But structurally, and this is correct. So this is what I'm finding. I think next step for me is to tag Ryan Selkis on this and understand what I think, because he is deeply interested in this topic for sure.
Interesting. But again, I have this. I don't know how to frame it. Every religion has the same timeline, approx.
timeline, I don't know, like that's very complicated, sub calendars and everything, so I haven't been able to. But there is something called uh, 10 things which will happen in order.
Antichrist, Age of Beast is Kali. ऐसा.
Like they might call it Hindu, they might call it Kalyug, or very similar. So one of the things which needs to happen before, let's say, this.
इतना I know कि कलयुग में gambling is prominent.
हाँ,
That is one thing.
So कलयुग में क्या हुआ, एक चीज है, कलयुग से just पहले what happens, there are 10 things defined. So and they are like very similar in every religion. जैसे there are two siblings or two entities which keep fighting each other, yes, and they revive each other every time someone dies, right? So they are mentioned, and Hindus call it mm, coke we coke. Muslims call it Juj Majuj. Christians or Jews call it Gog Magog.
Is
So
it like
it's a very similar name. No, so India is a completely different philosophy.
What is
It's like there are two evil powers, which you cannot kill. Why? Because if you kill one, the other will revive that person. Okay. Power. And if you kill this will revive that one. And
those two powers are एक controlling what people believe.
नहीं, yeah, these are prior to the age of the beast. So ऐसे ही like there are 10 things. Like there will be a locust attack. 2010 में we saw a lot of locust attack originating.
What are these two powers in general?
Uh, I don't know the esoteric meaning about it, but yeah, like wars में polarity होता है. So let's say it could be US, Russia, like two powers which are constantly fighting with each other, and every time one dies, that gives it the power to come back. But it's an entire like if I want to get into, so I will need like 3-4 months of just studying this.
Let's do it.
अरे, what fun!
Let's do it for fun.
Professor, will not be surprised if Age of the Beast comes. थोड़ा तो fun element.
We should be surprised. Like, see, मेरा point ये है, when I'm surprised by world events, uh, uh, I usually end up in a huge loss.